Ogale for that discussion there. We'll be keeping tabs with you later on the show. But for now, I want us to come back and continue with our panel discussion. Remember that I'm joined by Alex Gatundu, my far right, Billy Mijungu, thank you very much, and Franklin Mukwanja, thank you for your time. Interesting developments over the last couple of minutes. First of all, Mike Sonko saying that, if he does not clinch this ticket, he's going as an independent candidate. Billy, does that come as a shocker to you?
No, it doesn't come as a shocker to me. I mean, I'm running as an independent candidate. Political parties have not had enough time to be able to organize their primaries well. And if they've had that time, there are a lot of interests that are playing inside that. You could look at what Kabogo was complaining about. That this is about somebody within Jubilee who didn't mention names. You look at what Sonko is saying, that if he doesn't make it, he will go as an independent candidate. But what baffles me is if you are a member of a political party, for example, how then do you become an independent candidate? So it needs a bit of legal interpretation. Probably you will be able to help us because you have previously participated as a member of a party. How then do you then consider yourself an independent candidate? I mean, what is these tenets of independence that we have to abide by? But again, it's also an avenue for those who could well not have confidence in party primaries. You could see the way Migori County is chaotic. You can also see what happened with the Jubilee primaries. There's an intimation that independent candidates are about almost 4,000, probably, or 8,000. So people should not actually think of competition now. Competition is coming in August 8th. And that is where you'll be able to decipher what goes from there.
All right, Alex, very interesting comment from Billy that this independent candidate thing is giving life to people who don't deserve it.
No, independent candidate position or status is actually a right in the Constitution. And for your information, Betty, independent candidates are more protected under the Constitution more than even other candidates. And that is informed by the history that we have gone and the experience that we have gone through. The reason why we decided to go for independent candidates first is that we were borrowing from other areas like US.
Yeah.
Secondly, because primaries traditionally and historically have been botched, leading to the wrong candidates on the ballot and the wrong candidate being elected eventually, because in stronghold, basically, if you get the card, you are like you come to represent the interests that are on the ballot.
Yes.
That is maybe whether gubernatorial, senatorial, or even county assembly. So in order to avoid divert that eventuality, that was one of the reasons we came up with the position of independent candidate. Remember, to answer his question, you cannot be an independent candidate and a member of a political party at the same time. But the procedure for movement is there in the Constitution. 3 months before the election date, you are supposed to have ceased being a member of and that takes you to May 7th. So if by May 7th, you have written to the registrar of political parties and of course copied the sealed letter to the Secretary General of your political party, you're okay. Of course, that is subject to other administrative requirements by IEBC. And for example, you have to submit a symbol that will be, and it has to be approved by the IEBC. Subject to those administrative requirements, you are okay if you have jumped from a political party and if at all you are a member of a political party. Remember, most people are complaining that I'm not a member of a political party, but if I log in, I'm saying I'm a member of this party. But that is neither here nor there. Yeah. The most important thing is that to be on the safe side, it is important that you first confirm your status.
Okay.
Are you a member or not?
Okay. All right.
But agreeably so, Betty, if you look at Article 38 of the Constitution, it gives every Kenyan an inalienable right to be, be politically active. And I reckon that it is not necessarily just as an independent candidate, but also within a political party of your choice.
Yes.
I would, stretch it a little bit and say even, you must not just be an independent candidate. There is an avenue in my layman analysis of the law that there's nothing that may stop you constitutionally to cross over to another political party and still be valid in a court of law to argue that you must be allowed to. And I think clever candidates would have this option, because inherently there are dangers in being an independent candidate, that if you do not have, because political parties offer you some advantage in terms of the party mobilizers, their grassroots, their network, and those advantages you don't want just to lose as a candidate, especially who's not had, from the word go, determined that I want to run as an independent candidate.
Right.
So you've developed parallel systems akin to a political party establishment, and that would be very difficult for candidates with average means, and candidates who perhaps are first-time candidates, and therefore they lack the optics of face recognition, name recognition, and again you have no party behind you which offers you those optics to run. To make a serious step. So
Okay.
I think it's quite a tricky one for my good friend here who will be facing off. I think a party offers you advantages, but in terms of how he thinks that others cannot be independent candidates like him because their time out, I think Article 38, as my emphasis, gives Kenyans that leeway. And crossing over to another party, I don't think is even limiting.
All right.
I think,
Alex.
just a second, to chip into what you said, for the big boys, so to call them, the mere presence and participation of independent candidates is actually a blessing and an investment on their side. Investment in terms of they will reap benefits. Why do I say that? When there is presence and participation of independent candidates on the ballot on 8th, it means the competition will be very stiff, and hence it will attract voters to come. So there will be high voter turnout by virtue of presence and participation of independent candidates. Okay. So it is good. In fact, it is good for the major parties like Jubilee Party and ODM and the other players like Wiper Party. Yes.
All right. Interesting view. Billy, I want to hear what you have to say about this. Seems like we'll be having quite a number of independent candidates moving forward.
I think the most important thing is to realize that politics is local. If you're an independent candidate, of course, you'll be aligning yourself properly.
Why don't you want to align yourself with any party? Maybe that's where we should start it.
Betty, the media the bad news is good news for the media, and recently it's really been fodder for them. So, but for candidates, that's a bit different. People want to belong, and people want to be somewhere where they know they can make a mark. And of course, political parties have not been well managed. I hear what Frank has said in terms of political party presence, the networks and all that. My God, these political parties have not held elections, so I don't know what network is talking about.
All right, we'll come back to the discussion. For now, I want to link up with Nick Wambua. He's standing by at Mombasa Road Primary School. Nick, thank you very much for speaking to us. What can you tell us about the voting back there?
Thank you very much, Betty. Yes, we are in Mombasa Road Primary School, whereby the process is going on well since morning. We have been able to go to most of the schools, polling centers, whereby these exercises taking place. And what you can report right now is that everything is smooth. It is going on quite smoothly, no hitches so far. And just to give you an overview of what is happening right here, Betty, is that most of the people came early in the morning and were able to be done by afternoon, this afternoon. And still, people are still coming in. And as you can see, everything is quite smooth, making sure that every ballot paper is well printed or is having a stamp to make sure that there's nothing that is going to go into the ballot boxes that is not stamped. That is just to make sure that there's efficiency in the whole exercise, Betty. And as you can see also with the clerks, what they're doing is that they're trying to look at the IDs. Everybody is coming with an ID. They're trying to use that is the voter, that is the party. The party register, and then if the name is not in the party register, then they're going to confirm with the IEBC register. They're also saying that right now in most of the centers, Betty, if you can see, they're trying to see if a voter does not have, or if the voter's name does not appear in the register, then they are being written their names and the ID numbers in a separate paper whereby that is taking place. Exactly. So Betty, if I just take you outside, is that as you can see the queues here are quite long, not so long, but compared to morning hours, whereby we had so long queues, right now it is a bit different because we can see that the queues are quite shorter. Unlike in the morning, whereby there were longer queues. That means that in a short while, that is let us say about a prediction of 5 p.m., this exercise in most of the centers then will be through, because if you can see, these queues are not so long. So Betty, the process is going on well in Makandara constituency, whereby it is a few meters from where the aspiring Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko just casted his vote in BD Primary School. So we're observing and we're seeing what is going to happen next. Betty.
Can see, and as you've told us, things seem to be smooth sailing back in Rabai Road Primary School. All right, so right now we want to take a short commercial break, actually just a minute, to drink some water, and then we'll be coming back and continuing with our conversation, as well as focusing on what's happening in the different places where we're having the primaries today. All right, so do stay with